9 overpriced designer bags I would avoid if you don't want to make a costly mistake, and make sure you stay tuned because I'm going to be revealing at the end of the video the bag that I think is the biggest cash grab and what I think are better price alternatives throughout the video. The first bag that I think is horrifically overpriced is actually a very iconic bag. This is a piece from Louis Vuitton, and since Pharrell has become creative director at Louis Vuitton, this bag has definitely seen a revival. The bag that I'm talking about is the Louis Vuitton Speedy. But I'm not talking about all Speedies, I am talking about the new leather colour option Speedy bags. But wait until I share the prices with you. The 25 retails at £6,850 in the UK, $9,300, nearly $10,000 in the US. The 40 size retails at $11,100 and the Speedy 50, £9,150 in the UK. I literally think there are better options that look way more chic than these coloured leather ones do at a fraction of the price. Let's take a look at the leather Speedy 25. This one has just been released and this one has the maltage detail on. It currently only comes in a black colourway option, but this one retails at $3,600 in the US. You can also get the Speedy bag in on-front leather where the logo is embossed into the leather. The 25 size retails at $2,710 in the US. Overall, I just think the look and vibe of them is going to be a lot more elegant and a lot more timeless. If you are a bright colour lover, I have another alternative from a completely different brand, and it is the Mulberry Alexa bag. It is a very different style bag to the Speedy, but I would argue actually more practical. Now, with a lot of the Speedies, the zipper goes across the top, and especially with the bigger size options, it's really hard to find your stuff inside. However, with a flap bag opening, which is what the Alexa is, you can find everything inside. These come in some fabulous colours. This one is in a lawn green, and for a mini Alexa, you are looking at less than £1,000 in the UK, just over $1,000 in the US for a full leather piece, but you're still getting the benefit of those vibrant colours. Hey, if you are new here, my name is Steph. I have been collecting designer bags for over 10 years now, and in my time, I have had the privilege of owning hundreds of different designer bags. Some people will say all designer bags are overpriced, and I would agree with you, but there are some that I think are priced way above market averages, and I will of course pop links in the description box down below for you so that you can shop this video super easily and the better priced alternatives. Bag number 2, if you can call it that. This is more of a pouch. I have never understood. I don't know why this is such a popular piece, but again, it's from Louis Vuitton. This is the mini pochette accessoire. Now, I could maybe understand this piece a few years ago when they used to retail at say £250, but now, since the price increases, this retails at a whopping £530 in the UK, $745 in the US for what is not a leather piece. It is Louis Vuitton canvas, has this chain strap. It is barely a bag. The brands have kind of clocked on to the popularity of these pieces and sent the prices skyrocketing purely because they can. I think you can get better value for money by looking at Saint Laurent options. So we have the Gabby Cosmetics pouch, which retails at $825, but this is a full leather piece. You could wear this as a clutch bag, and I've no doubt there are conversion kits on places like Etsy. If I find one, I will link it in the description for you, where you can put inside and then add your own chain and turn this into a full leather bag. And at a slightly lower price point, we have the mini Calypso pouch, which retails at $725. Bag number 3. Now, this is very much a collector's piece, very overpriced, and I have what I think is a fantastic alternative. This is the Louis Vuitton Petite Valise bag. Now, this hard-sided bag very much again is playing up to Louis Vuitton's history, but wait until you see the price. This relatively small bag retails at £6,900 in the UK, $11,000 in the US. Now, when it comes to hard-sided bags like this, there are two things you really need to consider before buying. The first one is you have no room for movement. If the items you want to take with you do not fit inside, they will never fit inside. No amount of cramming or packing nicely will make any difference. And the second thing to consider is if you want to travel, take this piece away with you on holiday, for example, they can be really hard and awkward to pack. So I have got two great alternatives for you. If you want a Louis Vuitton piece that plays up to the history, the trunk making side of things, then the more modern version of this, I think, would be the side trunk bag. It is literally a trunk. If you get the MM size, it kind of bows down. I just think this is so chic. It is way more modern, more practical, and you've got a bit of leeway. You can get full leather options, you can go for monogram canvas options, and there are also limited edition options coming out. The side trunk bag in canvas retails at around £3,800, so at least half of the petite valise options. Now, if you do in fact prefer a hard-sided bag, then I have a much better option for you, and it is a piece from Aspinall of London. So they literally have a trunk bag which I think looks more chic. The quality from Aspinall I think is stunning, and I recently added the black trunk bag in the mock croc to my collection. It comes with a detachable crossbody shoulder strap, the lining, look at the bright cherry red, and one of these is much more affordable than the Louis Vuitton option. This one retails at around £490 in the UK, $660 in the US. Bag number 4 on our list of overpriced bags then. I think this bag is overpriced. I'm gonna be really harsh now. This is overpriced because Gucci are trying to charge money for it. This is how much I dislike this bag. It is the Gucci Horsebit chain bag. The shape of this bag makes no sense to me. I don't think it's classic. I don't think it is timeless. It retails for a leather option of this bag in a medium size, I believe, £2,820 in the UK, $3,890 in the US. After seeing this bag in person, honestly, like, the chain on it looks super cheap. This is just not going to hold its value at all. So some alternatives, any bag other than this bag is a good alternative in my opinion. I just went there. But in all seriousness, you can get satchel bags which have the horse bit on the front from Gucci. I think these are a much better option, way more classic, and ultimately going to make a much better investment in your wardrobe and your style. Bag number 5 on our list of overpriced pieces. You knew this bag would make it into the list. It was on my last overpriced list and it remains in the list to this day because it is seeing even more wild price increases, and to me this is overpriced. It makes no sense. I'm sorry, but it is the Chanel Classic flat bag. And I also find Chanel have some of the most inconsistent prices going. Let me give you an example of this. So 2 sequin flat bags. This version of the classic flap in sequins retails at £5,590, whereas this full sequin bag, I believe, retails at around £12,000. That's double the price of this one. Am I missing something? I mean, granted, I do think this is the prettier bag, like the £12,000, whatever it is, bag is prettier. But ultimately, they are both flat bags. They are both very similar sizes. This price makes no sense to me. Now, granted, I know that most people aren't looking at a sequin classic flat bag. A lot of people want one of the black caviar leather, the classic timeless. It's very much a pinnacle bag for a lot of people. And a small classic flap currently retails at just over £8,000 in the UK. And there's 2 main reasons that I think the classic flap is wildly overpriced. The first one is that, unfortunately, because this is such an iconic bag, there are so many fakes around. I see fakes of the classic flap bag probably more than I do most other bags. But the second reason is you can get some better alternatives from Chanel. When you look at their seasonal bag range, so seasonal bags generally don't have a name. They are generally called like a flat bag, for example. And once they've sold through on the season, you might not ever see that bag style again, but they are at much better price points. You can get flap bags that look very similar to the classic flap for, I would say, at least half the price. And just to demonstrate the price difference of a seasonal bag, so these do actually have a name. These are called the Business Affinity bag. I have 2 of them and these are the mini size. I got this directly from Chanel. I had the black one already, so this one is the one with the most up-to-date price that I know of. I paid £3,200 for this beauty, and you have the caviar leather, we have a top handle, we have a pocket on the back that's actually quite functional, and it is a flat bag with one big compartment. You have a zipper compartment as well. So for £3,200, I don't know what these retail for now. And one of the issues with seasonal bags is, for example, if you go into Chanel now, if they don't have a business affinity available in the current season, they can be really hard to get hold of. So you do have to kind of wait and see what is available each season. But just to highlight, I prefer this bag to the classic flap. I think it is more functional. I wear mine all the time as like little crossbody bags. But you've got the quilted stitching on here, the caviar leather, the champagne gold hardware, the CC on the front, very similar, more practical, half the price. To me, it makes sense to go down the seasonal route as opposed to getting a classic flap. The sixth overpriced designer bag could be slightly controversial. And before we go into this, I will say I do really actually quite like this bag. In fact, I've come very close to purchasing it. This is the Dior saddlebag. Now, the saddlebag was first created by Jean Galliano in 1999, and it was featured on the runway for the spring 2000 ready-to-wear collection. Now, I quite like the story behind this bag. The shape of this bag wasn't actually inspired by a horse saddle. It was in fact inspired by the shape of a rider's behind when they are riding a horse, and it was a handbag to mark a dawning age of riding into the new millennium. I do think this is in line with other Dior bags. I don't think it's overpriced in that sense, but if you actually look at the wider market of what is available, the Dior saddlebag, let's face it, everyone knows this, it is an awkward style shape bag, like especially the mini ones, and the mini one is the one that I would get. I think it's so cute, but I know that my phone will fit inside, but it kind of pokes out the top a little bit, and it's just a really awkward shape to work with. A normal size one retails at £3,450 in the UK, around $4,400 in the US for a leather version. At this price point, I think a bag needs to be really well thought out. It needs to be really functional. And the other bugbear that I have with this bag is the strap, the way that it kind of attaches to the CD on the side. I don't know, it feels like an afterthought. And this bag wasn't originally brought out with its own strap. It did used to just be the top handle. But then what happens is if you do decide to wear this piece as a crossbody bag, you have this strange top handle that kind of doesn't fold, it doesn't belong anywhere, and it just looks a bit weird. So I have what I think is a better alternative, and this is going to be a little bit controversial, so let me know what you think, but I think it's at a better price point and you have more material options to go for. And this is the Fendi First bag. I think the Fendi First is more modern. I think it's more fresh. I think it's better thought out. If you put the bag down, it's not going to topple over. They've thought about adding a strap to it. So you have these, you can wear it as a clutch bag, but you can also extend these little extenders out and attach a strap to it so you can crossbody and shoulder it if you want to. And just to give an example of price, you can save around £1,000, $1,000 by buying a Fendi First. A small Fendi First retails at £2,350. You can also get a midi-size version of this bag and also a medium size, which I would say is a large size bag. The seventh overpriced bag on our list is one that I have in my collection, but I bought mine before the last few price increases. Now that we have had the price increases, I do think it's overpriced. I think there are better alternatives. And it is the Rive Gauche tote bag from Saint Laurent. Okay, so when I got mine, this was less than £1,000, I think just around $1,000, and I got mine in the sea salt colourway, which I don't believe is available anymore. Now, when it comes to the ones that are available, they now retail at £1,440 for the canvas options, $1,990 in the US. I think this is quite a cool summer tote bag. I've taken mine to the beach, travelled with it, for example. I like that it has like a popper closure, so you can pop all this clothes that keeps your items more secure inside. The big issue that I have found with this bag is that over time I have seen ones that have been used a lot and this canvas does not hold up very well, and also the bottom of the bag here protrudes out. Okay, so if you are putting this bag down, because this isn't a seam like this, it's kind of sticking out of the bag, when you put the bag down it bends this part of the bag here. Over time, I have seen these bags and they really, if you use them a lot and don't look after them, look so awful. So what do I think are some better priced alternatives? I would actually look at Givenchy. So they have a canvas tote bag. It has a detachable crossbody slash shoulder strap and it retails at £1,200. Guys, these often go into sales as well at some of the big retailers. And if you really want to save a lot more money, I would highly recommend a Longchamp bag. I have a raffia version here. It does have a crossbody shoulder strap. And honestly, this has basically, this is like a mini size. but this has actually become my beach bag. I take it with me to the beach, I take it traveling. I will link to this one and a few others that I would recommend down below. But these are a fraction of the price. So this cost me just less than £200 here in the UK. But based on my experience with these bags, with the issues the Rive Gouges tote bag has, I don't think it's worth that price point anymore. I prefer my Longchamp option. The next bag that I think is overpriced, some people are going to hate me for. I feel like it's one of the bags that you either love or hate, but it is the mini Jodie bag from Bottega Veneta. This mini size handheld bag retails at £1,970 in the UK, $2,650 in the US. I will say, after seeing Bottega bags many times in person, the leather of these bags, beautiful. But the Jodie bag I have never understood. So watching quite a few reviews on this bag in general, the zipper can be really tricky to open out, to like get inside of the bag. And the fact that you cannot crossbody, you cannot shoulder the mini bag, you can only hold it in your hand, which I would find frustrating. I think this bag is overpriced, and I think there's a better alternative from the brand. It is the mini hop bag. Now this one retails at the same price as the mini Jodie, but you don't have the awkward zipper to try and get into the bag, and it does come with a strap as well, so you can crossbody it. I think it overall looks cuter, and because of the shape of this bag being more square slash rectangular, you're going to be able to get a lot more items in this piece. But if you do like the look of the mini Jodie bag, because I know it is a bit of a cult classic right now, you can get much cheaper versions of this, what I would call a trendy bag. And there is a brand called Mili Bianco, and they have one which retails at around £135, $150-ish in the US. Because I think this is trendy, I would definitely go for a cheaper option. Look, the quality, the leather is definitely not going to be anywhere near as nice as Bottega, but the mini Jodie bag, just to me, makes no sense. Now, I said I would share with you a bag that I think is the biggest cash grab of a bag. I think it's so overpriced for what it is, and I think the alternatives are so superior. I'm finally going to reveal which bag it is, and it is the Prada re-edition bag. This is a nylon bag which retails at £950 in the UK, $1,390 in the US. This is a very simple bag at a very high price point. Everyone knows at this point you are just paying for the Prada logo, and I get why this is popular. You know, Y2K bags are coming back, the like little shoulder bag is cute, but I'm not going to stop there, because you can get a version of this bag with straps and pockets all over it. Like, what does this bag think it is? A utility knife? This one's going to set you back £1,450, $1,950 in the US, nearly $2,000 for this bag. And you know what? Whilst we're at it, I'm just gonna go for it. Talking of bags with straps and chains hanging down and extra pockets, I'm also gonna bring the Louis Vuitton multi-pochette accessoire into this video. Again, all of these bags I think are overpriced. Granted, I did get drawn into the Louis Vuitton multi-pochette accessoire bag hype when it was released, but when it was released, it retailed at just over £1,200. This now retails at £1,970 now in the UK. That is a huge price increase from when it was first released, $2,570 in the US. The reason I think they can charge so much is literally their branding, their logo, but also we saw maybe a few years ago now the utility trend, and when these bags were released, especially the multi-pochette accessoire from Louis Vuitton, it kind of felt fresh. It felt like a little bit of a different take on a bag. Coming back down to reality, if we can park the Y2K era nostalgia vibes, these bags are so overpriced. I really do not think they are worth it. Now, because these three bags have never seen really much leather in their entire lives, I'm gonna give you some leather options that I think are really good alternatives. My favorite one is from Celine, and this is the Tilly bag. This is a new bag. I think it's still on pre-orders right now, but it retails at £1,750 in the UK, $2,450 in the US. So look, quite an investment. It is more expensive than the Prada, the Louis Vuitton, for example, but I think that extra stretch, you are getting a much better value for money bag. You've also got the Ava bag as well, which I think is very chic. I've tried this on a few times. You have a zip closure. So if you are into the shoulder bag trend, the Y2K era, I think these are really great options. And another option, if you are looking for something even cheaper, but again, a full leather bag for a great price point, check out D'Amelia, the Tokyo bag. It retails at just over $500 in the US. And the great thing about D'Amelia is when you order on their website, you get your shipping included and your duties and tax taxes so you aren't stung with any cost when a piece is delivered to your door. These options, I think, are far more elegant. Make sure you don't go anywhere because I'm going to be sharing with you 7 luxury items I would not buy again and why. This video could potentially save you a fair bit of money. Enjoy.